Okay, Professor, sorry this is so last minute. I've had a crazy life situation, so I'll be presenting this from my car, and if I don't get credit for it, that's okay. But I figured I might as well record it and send it in when I get a chance. So, my name is Brandon Ingebretson, and the main thing I'll be talking about is the link between job satisfaction and organizational structure. So, the things I'm going to be talking about are discussion of the topic, general discussion of the topic, the organizational context, and the concept in practice based on research. So the main thing, I'm going to talk about the concepts themselves, and then I'm going to go through a bunch of studies. So the types of organizational structure. This is where we have to start, is understanding the concept that there are different types of organizational structures. So a list of the main ones are divisional, matrix, team, network, hierarchical, and flat. So these are pictures that can really help visually with how they work. So all of these things, my whole theory is, does this affect job satisfaction? Whether you have like some common ones are functional, but hierarchical is one that makes a lot of sense naturally, innately, which is just, let's see, hierarchical. There's one guy down here and he tells the people what to do. There's a network, which is like there's networks, pods of people that are connected to each other. Let's go back to one original source, usually a CEO type figure. Another one is the flat organization. So hierarchical is chief, lower levels, lower levels, lower levels. And the horizontal and flat structure is something where it's everyone's on equal playing ground. There's like one person kind of overseeing everything. Okay, so is there a variance in job satisfaction based on organizational structure? That's the hypothesis. My hypothesis is yes. I do believe that job satisfaction can be lowered or greatened by what type of organizational structure. But I'm not sure, going into this, I wasn't sure which one was actually going to be best. So, our first thing is organizations should design a structure, a suitable structure, which must begin with some idea of what the organization is out to achieve. So, some structure, these are some key quotes from our first article from an Indian doctor. Says some structure is needed for an organization to achieve its goals. And then she quotes a couple doctors who pioneered a bunch of stuff when it comes to organizational psychology, Blum and Naylor. So she's talking, and why I use this article first was she comes to the strong conclusion that the organizational structure matters, firstly, but secondly, that it shouldn't just be chosen because, oh, that one's the best one, that's the best organizational structure for job satisfaction, that's the one that succeeded. But you should choose an organizational structure according to the goals and the needs of the specific company, the specific firm. So she's saying there's not one that's best for everyone. There's no one size fits all. But every organization should look for which one's going to be best for them to meet their goals. So it's important for where we're going with this whole presentation. So our next article is some of the main things I got from it was there's a difference between flat orgs and tall orgs, right? This one didn't focus on all the different structures we talked about, but it just focused and locked in on the difference in job satisfaction from a tall firm, so a hierarchical firm, versus a flat firm where everyone's kind of equal. So the main thing was that in a larger organization, like an esteemed large organization, a big business, Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, Facebook, these large companies, Oracle, these large companies that have a ton of employees, a ton of hierarchy, they found that a tall structure produces more job satisfaction. Why is that? It's because they find more satisfaction when they get promoted. So individuals, when they get promoted, they're like, oh wow, I'm making progress in this highly esteemed company. This is great, and it keeps them going. Whereas when it's flat in a large company, job satisfaction goes down for many reasons. But they found that in a smaller organization, the flatter it is, it's more satisfying. She talks and she's basically like, here's the deal. In a small organization, you say you work at a family restaurant and there's a hierarchy, even though there's only 10 employees, the employees get the thing in their mind of, what, that person barely does any more work than me. I work with them side by side every day. They're not even doing more work than me. We're all pretty even here. I don't understand why I don't get paid as much. I don't understand why I'm not getting the promotion. So people feel very like if there's a hierarchy in a small business, they feel like it doesn't make sense because we're all kind of pretty important players in this small business. Whereas when it's flat, everyone feels like it's more of a family thing. It's more of a teamwork, unified team where everyone's on equal footing and they're able to, it just feels more fair. So job satisfaction is higher. So it's interesting to know this is the first study we're looking at where a different organizational structure produces higher job satisfaction based on the context and the attributes of the organization. So this next one, some of the key quotes are, with increasing complexity and size of today's organizations and the increasing level of components of job satisfaction, organizations are opting for a mixed structure. So what this article is going to propose is, and I've got all the citations in the bibliography after, what this article is going to propose is that we're actually moving into a time where businesses are so multifaceted and honestly complex, especially large organizations, medium to large size, that individual firms shouldn't be looking at just those 6 types of organizational structure. They shouldn't just be looking at the 6 basic types and trying to copy and paste it. So what they're proposing in this article is that every business actually comes up with a unique structure. So this could actually, on a little side note, for Ben and Brittany, as you guys watch this, is this could actually provide more jobs for organizational psychology majors and people getting the masters. Is okay, a new potential if businesses need to come up with a unique structure, which some have already, of course, but it should become common. This article is proposing that it should become common that businesses should be coming up with a hybrid structure of management that's going to best suit the company and what's going to best increase job satisfaction with employees. Okay, so one of the last things is, what's the important organizational context for this concept? So this concept is clearly important. Job satisfaction is major. It's a major topic in organizational psychology. And then organizational structure is also a major topic. So obviously this is important. What I see are the most important areas in a firm that this affects is going to be management and human resources. So management, they're going to have to do the actual decision making when it comes to this. So it's going to, first of all, a different organizational structure. Management needs to understand why they have it, and their role is actually going to be very changed based on how it goes. So management's role is going to completely change based on organizational structure, and they need to understand why. They need to understand the importance of job satisfaction. And then management also needs to put in place these changes. And then what I see as the importance of human resources is that human resources is obviously responsible for the nitty-gritty when it comes to job satisfaction, employee retention. So human resources is going to be affected primarily because they're also going to be tracking it a lot. So human resources is going to be tracking job satisfaction. They're going to be in there every day. They're going to be like, okay, how's this working? How's this working? How's this structure working? Talking to employees, talking to everyone that works there and saying, okay, what about this organizational structure works, guys? What about it doesn't? Are you guys satisfied? Is there a better alternative? And then human resources ultimately going to have to report to management. They're going to have to report to the business owners, and they're going to have to say, okay, this structure is working. So these two are going to have to work together to figure out like the previous article, one of the previous articles said, is these two are going to have to work together to figure out what the best hybrid model, if they decide to do a hybrid model, what the best hybrid model is to maximize job satisfaction with that company. So, in summary, based on the research, it is clear that organizational structure has a significant impact on job satisfaction. From the research, it is clear that there is no organization structure that is a one-size-fits-all. While small firms are generally better off with flat structure, larger ones seem to be better off being taller. In general, the work world ought to shift into a place in which organizations figure out their mission, goals, and strategy, and then proceed to make mixed structure that caters to their vision and general job satisfaction as best as possible. Thank you. Here are all my sources, and I'll send these to you guys. But basically, we got a from whatfix.com. It was the picture and the sources for all the different structures. We got People Matter talking about job satisfaction and organizational structure. We got an LSU paper. We got Nigerian financial sector paper. And then we have just job satisfaction in social services departments. Thank you so much. I apologize for this being so late and so random and sporadic. Yeah, so do what you got to do. But that's my presentation. I put a lot of effort into it, put a lot of research into it. Thank you guys so much.